Give you a couple more seconds. Okay, so there's going to be two situations. Situation one, where they give you all three sides. Number one is to find the angle opposite the longest side. Number two, use law of sines to find one of the remaining angles. Number three, you then use the angle sum of a triangle to find the third angle. You must pick the longest side. By picking the longest side, we get rid of the possibility of the ambiguous case, and we make our lives so much easier. Okay? The second situation is side angle side. Okay? We will use law of cosines to find the missing side. We then use law of sines after that to find the missing angle. You then use triangle inequality to determine which angle is an appropriate solution. All right? That way we don't have to worry about the ambiguous part. We can just do it mathematically and then use the angle sum of a triangle to find it. All right. So, okay. All right. So, find the angle measures of a triangle given A equals 8 feet, B equals 19 feet, and C equals 14 feet. All right, so we start with a triangle. We can put the side lengths anywhere you want, 8, 19, and 14. All right, this is going to be A because it's opposite little a. This is going to be B because it's opposite little b. And that's going to be C. All right. You look for the longest side, which is 19. And we're going to find the angle opposite that. All right. So that would be B. So the cosine of B equals the remaining side squared. All right. So that's the sides that are the sides that are the sides of the angle. So 14 squared plus 8 squared minus the opposite side, which is 19 squared. All over 2 times 14 times 8. All right. These should always match up with those. You can switch those if you'd like. All right. But now it's going to be mathematical. 14 squared is 196. 8 squared is 64. 19 squared is 361. 196 plus 64 is 260. 260 minus 361 is negative 101. 14 times 8 is 112. 112 times 2 is 224. I go to my calculator and I do negative 101 divided by 224. And I get negative 0.4509 when I round to 4 places. All right, it's fine that it's negative. Cosine is allowed to be negative. So now I'm going to do second cosine and put that in, negative 0.4509. And I get that B is 116.8 degrees. All right, so that's my biggest angle. All right, everybody good with that? Because that's what's new. This second angle can be found using the same thing we did last week, law of sines. So the sine of 116.8 over 19 equals, and you can pick either angle you want, sine of C over 14. Not going to matter, as long as you pick the side that's opposite the correct angle. I'm going to do 14 sine 116.8. And then I'm going to divide that by 19. And that gives me sine of C equals 0.6577. Second sine, 0.6577. And I get 41.1 degrees for C. And then to get my third angle, I simply add those up, which gives me 157.9. Subtract that from 180, and the third angle is 22.1 degrees. So first angle is using law, when you're given side, side, side. First angle is using law of cosines. Second angle is using law of sines. Third angle comes from the fact they add up to 100. Good. Going once, going twice. All right. So the next situation, side angle side. Given the measured angle A is 25 degrees, B is 9 meters, and C is 12 meters. Find the remaining sides and angles. All right. So A can be in that corner, 25 degrees. B is 9, C is 12. They are the adjacent sides, the sides of the angle. Now I'm trying to find a side length. All right, so I'm going to use, the standard form. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. Basically, when finding the opposite side in a side angle side situation, you square the two sides they give you and add them up. You then multiply those two sides together by 2, subtract that after you had multiplied it by the cosine of the angle between them. Is what side angle side looks like. So this would be 9, that would be 12. 9 squared is 81. We'll write it out. So that's, ladies and gentlemen, what I need to see for work. 9 squared is 81, 12 squared is 144. I add them up, I get 225. 2 times 9 is 18, 18 times 12 is 216 minus 216 cosine 25. A squared after plugging this in is 29.23. All right. Now, basically, don't forget that squared, so you got to do a square root. I like the Pythagorean theorem. So we do the square root of 29.23, and A comes out to be approximately 5.41. Now you need to get the remaining two angles. My suggestion to you is you use the longest side once again. We'll explain why in a moment. So the sine of 25 over the side we now know that's opposite is 5.41 equals the sine of C, since that's little c, over 12. That's the C and that's the B. I'm going to do 12 sine 25, divide that by 5.41. 12 sine 25 divided by 5.41. Sine C equals 0.9374. Now I'm going to do second sine to 0.9374. And I get 69.6 degrees. And if you remember from last week, 110.4 degrees. All right, 12 is the biggest side. All right, 12 is the biggest side. Okay, so that means the angle has to be the biggest angle. If I make it 69.6, 69.6 plus 25 is 94.6. That would leave 85.4 for the remaining angle. Unfortunately, that can't happen because that angle can't be bigger than that angle. So I get rid of the 69.6. So this has got to be 110.4. And then to get the third angle, I use triangle angle sum. 110.4 and 25 is 135.4. Subtract from 180 and you get 44.6. All right, so when finding your angle, that's why we picked the longest side. The longest side means that's the biggest angle. It doesn't necessarily mean which one's which, but it's got to be the biggest angle. And then you plug it in to ensure that that's the bigger angle. Because if I made that 69.6, that'd be 86, which can't happen. That's the part of the notes that says using triangle inequalities, and that's why we did that earlier. All right. Any questions? All right. So you look at some practice problems on the next page. Find each measurement indicated, round your answer to the nearest tenth. So we want to find BC, which is this. All right. So we're trying to find a side length. Whenever you use a side length, you're using standard form. A squared, since it's opposite capital A. All right. And then you have to remember it's the two remaining sides. So that'd be 8 squared plus 12 squared, because those are the sides in either order, minus 2, those same two side lengths, 812, cosine of the angle between them. All right, so don't get hung up on which letter is which with all the different forms. All right, when finding a side, because it's side angle side, It's the square of the sides minus double their product times the cosine of the angle between them. 8 squared is 64, 12 squared is 144. Add them up and you get 208. 8 times 12 is 96. 96 times 2 is 192. Cosine 72. I use my calculator to do 208 minus 192 cosine 72. Like such. And I get 148.67. A squared equals 148.67. Your last move is to then do a square root to both sides. So when I do the square root of 148.67, I get A to be approximately 12.2 since it said to round to the nearest tenth. All right, so using that line of thinking, please do number 2. All right, so we got 24 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 24 is 16, cosine of 115. All right, b squared when we're all said and done comes out to be 1156.6 when I compute that. B comes out to be approximately 34.0 kilometers. All right, any issues with that one that you did on your own? Okay, now if we look at number 3, and that's where we'll end off for today. All right, find the measure of angle B, 27.3, 59.2. Okay, the problem is, all right, we have the side of B, but the other side isn't included. All right, so you first have to get little a in order to do this problem. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared, the other two sides. So 27.3 squared plus 20.3 squared minus 2 times those two sides, 27.3, 20.3. Cosine of the angle between them, so 59.2. So it doesn't matter whether they're asking you for a side or an angle. If they give you two sides and the angle between them, your first move is to find the opposite side. All right? When I do this math, 27.3 squared plus 20.3 squared. Comes out to 1157.38. When I do this math, 2, 27.3, 20.3, cosine 59.2. I get 567.54. All right. When I subtract 1157.38 minus 567.54, a squared equals 589.84. Then do the square root of that. And A is approximately 24.3. Now I use law of sines to finish it up. So opposite of 24.3 is 59.2. So the sine of 59.2, all right, over 24.3 equals the sine of B over 20.3. Cross multiply 20.3 times the sine of 59.2 divided by 24.3 gives me a sine of B of 0.7176. And then do second sine, 0.7176. And that comes out to be 45.9 degrees. All right, so when they give you two sides and an angle, your first move is still to find a side, even though they're asking you to find an angle. Okay, before you leave, we'll just walk you through. All right. Period 5. All right. So here's your law of cosines homework 1. All right. First 4, you're finding a side length. So that's just like the first 2 we did. Next 4, you're finding an angle. So if you feel comfortable after that one we did, go to work on that. All right. Notice, though, when you get to numbers 7 and 8, they're giving you all 3 sides. So you can go right to the alternative form if you'd like. But we'll go through that tomorrow as well. All right. And then 9 through 12, solve each triangle. Remember from last week means just find all the sides and all the angles. All right. So that is going to be due tomorrow night at midnight. So tomorrow in class, we will finish the remaining ones on that sheet, going through them. If anybody has any questions, we'll then do a little thing called Heron's formula, which is area of a triangle involving all 3 sides. And then you'll be good to go with that. Before letting you go, does anybody have any questions? Everybody's good? All right. Well, best of luck to you. Be good. And I will see you tomorrow.
Bye, Mr. Serrata.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Bye, thank you.
Yep.